Hello and welcome to another edition of Press the Action Button. I am your host, Joystick, and with me once again is D-Pad. How are you this week, D-Pad?
Oh, I'm doing alright. I got a good bit of gaming in yesterday, you know.
Well, that's always nice to hear.
Just sat down, I was like, I'm not doing anything today. Don't bug me. Don't bug me. Playing video games.
Understandable. Let you play a little bit of Red Faction Guerrilla earlier. I got that game for free, and I am going to review that for the site when I'm done with it. Also with me this week is Gameface. How are you this week, Gameface?
Tank Fly, Boss Walk, Jam Nitty Gritty. You're listening to the boy from the big bad city, and this is PTAB. Let's keep it rolling.
What he said.
Cookies for you if you can figure out what that's from.
Am I announcing what we're drinking this week, or...
Well, it's one of your personal favorites.
This week we are drinking Michelob Light. I love it. I haven't had it in a long time. I know it's a little expensive. It was over $7 for a 6-pack.
It's the Cadillac of light beers.
But, yeah, I haven't had it in a long time, so I thought we'll go with that. I like Michelob.
I like beer.
I noticed. I noticed that. We have an action-packed show for you this week.
Action.
Got 5 topics to talk about. Get to those eventually, I imagine.
At some point.
Yeah, at some point. Or ramble on for a little bit. We always tend to do that, don't we?
Discourse.
Well, last week we had 6 topics. It was a bit of a slow news week, actually. And I had to do a little bit of hunting to find something for yesterday and today to put up on the site news. If you've been keeping up, I put up an update every single day for gaming news.
And we only have 5 items this week, am I right?
That's correct.
But these are, what we lack in quantity, we make up with quality. These are big, fat, juicy, not too gristly, very tender morsels of video gaming news.
I don't think it's ever anything like that. Even if we have too many topics, we'll find a way to breeze through them. Normally we get onto a topic and then we ramble and joke and talk about butts and everything, and then we pass it off. We're like, alright, this is going too far, and we pass off to the next one.
Prove it, ass butt!
But we always make it an hour. What is it? Have we ever had one that was over an hour or under
We've
an hour?
had one that was about... Well, most of them are just shy of an hour, like 55 minutes or something.
Alright.
But that one where you guys had to come over before work.
Oh yeah, the Thursday. It was a Thursday episode, and then we just went ahead and did another episode on Sunday.
Yeah, we did a quick episode that week. It was about 24, 25 minutes shorter than normal.
Technical difficulties. But
Yeah,
either way,
that's,
we've gotten pretty good at our timing. You know, we usually make do.
That was also the week that I did.
Difficult technicalities.
That too. That was also the week that I did noise reduction on the podcast, and I got told that by fans of the podcast that it sounded better without noise reduction. And there is some background noise when we do it that way. Hopefully it'll be covered up by the music.
Yeah. Although, actually, the last time I actually sat down and listened to the finished product, it was on a very, very cheap pair of computer speakers, unpowered. So it didn't really do it justice anyways.
I thought we were listening to it yesterday in his house on his computer.
Yeah, actually, that sounded a lot better.
I don't know how good your computer speakers are.
They're pretty good. D-Pad's computer speakers, that is.
Dude, Alex, yours suck.
That's what I was talking about. Mine.
He's got speaker. Singular, not plural. He's got speaker.
I ripped the other speaker out of its housing to use as a refrigerator magnet. It didn't even work. I mean, it sticks to the refrigerator, it just can't hold anything up.
That's what life would sound like if you just had one ear, I guess.
Kind of reminds me of the time that I went to a Greensboro Bats game. That's a minor league baseball team. And we were sitting next to one speaker. You could not hear the other speaker. And they started playing Crazy Train. And I don't know if you've ever noticed, but at the very beginning of Crazy Train, when Ozzy says "I," it goes from one ear to the other.
I have
It's
noticed
in
that
stereo.
before. Yeah.
Let's recreate that.
Alright, it
I-
usually sounds something like this.
I.
Yeah, something like that. So it was more like I.
Number 8.
See, this is why we need that battery-powered microphone you had last week. We really got to get that thing working, man. I'm tired of passing the microphone around like, oh, I have something to say. I got something. And we got two hooked up. We jerry-rigged 2 microphones together, and that kind of dilutes the sound quality a little bit. But it lets 2 people talk at one time. But there's 3 of us.
Well, we're putting out a free podcast.
I'd like this if we didn't have to
minimal-
use our hands for it. If we could just talk.
We're putting out a free podcast with what we can afford,
Yeah.
which isn't much because
Yeah, that's true.
we work at fucking FedEx.
Alright, well, maybe as we get more viewers, we can get a bit of a, go all out on our software and hardware.
We're using 2 $4 microphones spliced together
With duct tape.
and Audacity,
Freeware.
which is free.
Freeware and duct tape. That's what this podcast should be called.
I'm actually almost out of music to use for the podcast, pulling from CDs.
I thought we used the same songs over and over again.
I've used a different soundtrack for every week. Today's the 5th week in a row I'll use a different soundtrack, and I'm almost out of music. I mean, I got one more I can do for next week. That's the Black Mages.
Oh, nice.
3, I mean, it's going to be a little bit tacky, but, 3-word solution. OC remix.
Have you used...
I was thinking about just going and downloading some video game soundtracks from online. I was definitely going to try the Castlevania 4 soundtrack, maybe Final Fantasy 4 or 6.
I really want to try and get a chance to use that reggae version of the Chocobo theme that was used in one of Spoonie's reviews. Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
It sounds pretty cool. Have you used any Anamanaguchi yet?
Apart from the very first week, all I've used is soundtracks from video games. I used the Super Metroid soundtrack, the Half-Life 2 soundtrack. I remember the Doom soundtrack, and that's about it. This week I'm using a 3D Castlevania game soundtrack.
Well, see if you can find some MP3s of Arm Cannon. That'd be great.
I did have a song or two in the first one.
Oh, I remember the Mario 3 medley from the first one.
That was Any Eskimos.
Any Eskimos, huh? Any Eskimos?
That's actually 2 parts. It's like 15 minutes of Mario 3 music. It's awesome. Anyway, Game Face, you had a rant that you were telling me that you wanted to do. Did you want to do that on this podcast, or did you want to do that as a article in the opinions article?
That sounds like something that would have to be its own episode.
Well, I might as well at least bring it up, but honestly, this...
Yeah, but you can't force a rant, you can't.
No, I can't,
Either
but
it happens
Just
on the
mentioning
fly.
it makes me a little bit irritated. The 3D, the real D technology in movie theaters. We went to see Clash of the Titans yesterday afternoon. We went to the matinee for the express purpose of getting a cheap movie in, and we had no other option but to watch it in 3D. And I'm really getting ticked off at this real 3D thing. Okay, let's sum up. Avatar. Awesome. What was the second one? Alice in Wonderland. Good. Clash of the Titans. Kind of shallow. Shrek 4. Bull squat. That's just... They're going overboard with this. All it is extortion. It's a gimmick. It could be so much better implemented, so much more effectively. But all it is I found that wow, that's a paradox, Ian. That's a paradox. D-pad was just putting the second microphone to my mouth while I was speaking into one.
What happens then?
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Time paradox. You can't go changing the future like that, Raiden.
It's a Pime paradox. This user has been deleted by the comment.
It's kind of like dividing by 0. Oh shit!
Oh! There's no floor. What am I supposed to jump? Yeah, but real D, I mean, movies with real D, 3D are starting to get really shallow, and I keep finding myself just wanting to take the shades off, but for reasons that I'll outline on a separate item, I can't do that. It's a plague, and I'll cover it later. Let's move on.
Yeah, I have a thing or two to say about the new polarized 3D glasses and everything, all of these 3D movies, but maybe we should get started on the actual podcast.
Oh, yeah, you think that? It's only 10 minutes.
Yeah, we haven't rambled enough lately.
Just a quick comment
Well, does
on
it
Clash
screw
of the
back
Titans.
on? Does it get tighter?
The movie was actually finished before they decided to put it in 3D. So the 3D
Yeah,
in
that's
that
another
movie
thing,
is
yeah.
an afterthought.
It's the same thing with Coraline. I watched that. It was, and I think Shrek 4 was like that also. Like they were just like as soon as they were finishing
Is
up the
Shrek
movies.
4 even out?
No, I don't think so. I saw previews for it though, but it wasn't intended to be 3D. You know, when they were
Avatar was
making
3D
it.
from the start, wasn't
Exactly, and that's why it did so well.
Well, movies that are primarily CG, and granted, Clash of the Titans, Avatar were very heavy in the CG department, but they're a lot easier to adapt into 3D because they're rendered in a 3D environment and then printed to 2D film afterwards. It's the 2D that's an afterthought. It's just a different application. But Clash of the Titans, which actually had a lot of live action stuff, and there was one scene where it was cutting back and forth between, I don't want to talk too much about the movie here, but it was cutting back and forth between Pericles, and I think he was talking to Zeus at the time, and it was just really, really annoying because it was the farther character that was always being focused on. You know what? I'm going to have to detail this later because I could go off all night, and this is something that'll look a lot better in text, but it was annoying!
Oh, this thing doesn't screw on and off.
You know
It
how loud
pops
that's
on and
going to
off.
be?
What, me
When
picking
you
on the...
You picking at the mic like that?
I'm sorry. Well, it's not like anyone was listening to Game Face anyway.
Okay, first topic. Dsiware. If you bought a DSi XL to replace your DSi, you cannot transfer any Dsiware games from said DSi to the DSi XL. They're non-transferable. They are exclusive to the console that you bought them on, unlike the PlayStation Network, for example, where if you can pull up your profile, you'll be able to download them again for free. You have to pay for these games again if you want them on your DSi. And I think that's pretty bullshit.
Something tells me it's not going to be like that for long, though.
Honestly, I think they're going to develop some kind of an extra service that you can go in through your new DSi, what is DSi XL, and log into their service, and it'll say, like, available for download. Like, hey, you go to buy something a second time, and they'll say, hey, you already bought this once before. We're just going to let you download it. iTunes is supposed to work that way, but
What's to
it
stop
doesn't.
somebody from hacking into the system, though, and finding a way to make it seem like they bought it before?
well, what's
And
to
just
stop
getting
somebody
everybody-
from just pirating software?
I don't know.
I see that eye patch you're rocking.
We're finding lots of new ways to
Are you?
to get around it.
Yes, you are, D-pad.
Well, I mean, no, not me personally. I'm just saying they, me, they.
You hear this? He's like, please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me, Internet. Well, last week he's all, I'm D-pad. You can come find me. I'm a big bad motherfucker. And I pirate music like a mofo. That was him last week. This week, I don't pirate games.
Oh, if the internet ever discovered how much pirated software is on my computer, that man, they would bust down my door with a SWAT team. They would use a battering ram on it and hang me from the tallest tree.
I actually saw a guy get arrested by the SWAT team once.
Really, by a SWAT team?
By SWAT, yes.
For
it
what?
was freaking awesome. I was working at Albertsons at the time, and I was the guy that brought carts in from the lot, basically. It was my first job. And this car comes screeching down into the parking space and comes to a sudden stop, and a police truck pulls up behind it, and out comes guys in full SWAT gear, and they tackle this guy to the ground, and they're like holding him down and handcuffing him and stuff. I was sitting there watching, going, "This is so fucking badass."
Was he a Scientologist?
Quite possibly. One can only hope.
I should hope so. Otherwise, what's the point? Was he a clown by any chance?
No, it wasn't John Wayne Gacy.
Ah, dang.
I think he's already dead,
Bob Saget.
Isn't he dead?
John Wayne Gacy?
Yeah.
I don't freaking know. If a tree falls in the woods and it lands on John Wayne Gacy, does anybody care?
Yeah, they do. Especially if he's dead. They celebrate.
Anyway.
Dsiware. Nintendo. Fix this bullshit, for it sucketh. Go the route of Sony. Sony set a good example. Follow it.
Non-sucketh. No, I don't know Nintendo. I give you props for being different. I give you props. I love you.
Well, still, if I had a DSi, and then I wanted to get a DSi XL to replace
Oh yeah,
it,
I'd be
pretty
pissed.
damn big if.
But I don't.
Because I don't even have a DSi, and I don't want the DSi XL. But if I did, I'd be pretty pissed. And I understand anybody being pissed off. Because, I wonder if they even have any kind of information that tells you that when you buy the damn thing. Or if they let you know in any way, shape, or form. Or if you just go to re-download your stuff and it says, you can't do that.
Yeah, like I'm saying, I really don't think it's going to be like that for long. So many people are going to complain, and people are eventually just going to stop buying it, just for the point of not supporting it.
Nintendo is not known for that kind of jackassery. They're not known for ripping people off.
Oh, yes, they are.
They are known for having really, really bad pipe dream ideas at the very end. But they're not Microsoft.
That's true.
They're not.
They don't rip you off. They're
Ubisoft.
not known for ripping you off, but I have been ripped off by Nintendo quite many times. For the GameCube, for one example, the A button started sticking, and when I went to take the controller apart, the screws used 3 teeth. There's 3 teeth. Do you have a 3-toothed screwdriver?
Oh, you mean that triangle head deal?
Yeah, you cannot do it yourself. And for the N64, remember the RAM, the expansion pack that they made? So knowing that they were going to make an upgrade for it, they made it weaker so that you had to pay for an upgrade.
The only time I've been ripped off by Nintendo personally, and this is because I was a very sheltered gamer, but the only time that I was really ripped off by Nintendo was upon purchasing Werewolf: The Last Warrior for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Although, granted, Nintendo would suffer my rage if that had been one of their actual products, but it wasn't. It was by some awful company called Data East. They would feel my rage. But you know what, Nintendo? You still approve that pile of crap.
I was going to ask if it was by LJN.
LJN is so bad that you gotta love it. It's like Sergeant Hatred.
Did they do Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?
Or Trauma.
I love Trauma.
Exactly.
I love Trauma.
Trauma's whole
Citizen
point
Toffee.
is bad. You're not bad if you're trying to be bad.
Yeah, more or less. They're like Ed Wood, except they're a lot more self-aware. Trauma. They're like, hey, we've been doing crap for 30 years, but at least we've been doing crap.
At least we do it well.
Yeah, we do our crap
passion
well.
in
Ian,
crap.
D-Pad, to answer your question, LJN did Who Framed Roger Rabbit for the NES, Back to the Future for the NES, and then they were tied to the mast of an outgoing retired aircraft carrier after that, and we never heard from them again, thankfully.
Yeah.
Didn't they do Terminator 2 for the NES as well?
I'm going to have to say, actually, yeah, I think they did. I don't know.
Because isn't that the reviewer that there's like, I bet, better movie, better game, I bet at the end of this there's a rainbow. Uh-oh.
Oh, that's
Rainbow.
right.
Isn't that,
Yeah.
wasn't that? Because that was LJ.
Drawing inspiration from another critic. Yeah, I know. We've all been there. We've all been there. Tisk tisk. but we're better people now, and we don't play bad games, and we don't I'm not saying plagiarize, but yeah.
No, I'm just saying that was why I remembered that it was LJN.
Well, they suck. Enough said.
Yeah.
Anyway,
if you're listening to this and you were
the Moonwalker's back.
LJN crew that did those games, fuck you.
Take your gloves off.
Fuck your couch. Yeah, we should move on.
Anyway,
Metacritic has listings for Red Steel 2 at 81%. Apparently, the company that developed Red Steel 2, whose name I can't remember off the top of my head, is not quite happy with that. They wanted higher scores. What is wrong with a score of 81%?
I wouldn't complain. I've gotten an 81 score on tests that I've studied for 2 days, and I'm happy.
So am I. I got a 75 on tests. I'm happy.
Yeah,
gamers complain when games get 75. Oh, this game must suck. It got a 7.5.
No, very rarely do you see it break 8 anymore.
But there are some good 7.5 games out there. 7.5 does not mean a game is bad.
Hey, 7.5 is Jay Sherman's highest possible score when he reviews movies.
Shit.
The critic.
Oh. It stinks.
It
stinks.
I love
it stinks. Yes, Mr. Sherman. Everything stinks.
Hey, if they don't like it, we can fork it on over to Ben Croshaw and see what he has to say about it. All in all, I give it a 4 out of 10. Hey, that's generous.
I'm sure Yahtzee would hate it because he hates everything that isn't Portal and Silent Hill.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Final Fantasy VI. He likes that too. He also likes Saints Row 2. I think that completes the list of games that he likes.
Well, he lives in Australia. I can't blame him.
He doesn't get games in Australia.
Yeah. Looks like contraband over there.
And we'll get to that topic eventually, but 81%.
That's good.
That's a good score. Why wouldn't they be happy with an 81% score? I do not get that.
Is this like the R. Kelly, not R. Kelly, what's his name? That guy who sucks?
There are a whole lot of people that suck.
The Kanye West school of perfectionism.
I can kind of empathize, though. I mean, they hit the ground running with Red Steel. Wasn't it like the second game to come out for the Wii?
Dude, with Red Steel, they hit the ground face first from an airplane without pulling the parachute.
Yeah, it sucked. It was terrible. Yeah, I mean, I tried playing it, and I was like, okay, it's a first-person shooter. That's cool. You're using the Wiimote. It's like a rail shooter from like Area 51 from an arcade. Look at me, Mom. It's an arcade in our house. And then you're wondering like, hey, where's the sword? I swore there was a sword on the cover. That's the gimmick, isn't it? It's Red Steel. And it turns out you can only use the sword at certain parts of the game. Like if somebody comes up and challenges you to a sword duel, you can only.
And then the sword duel sucked.
Yeah, and then you swing twice, and then that's it, and one person's dead.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really hoping. I don't know. Maybe they've spent like the last. What's it been? Like 3 years since that game came out. They probably spent the last 3 years saying, "All right, this game had promise, and we are going to work on this, and we are going to make it the best fucking game that the Wii has to offer." And 8.1. I mean, I would be thankful for that.
Yeah, I'd be happy with an 8.1.
I would,
I'd be happy
but
with 81%.
But I don't know. We don't. I guess we're not them. We don't know how much effort they put into it.
Yeah, well, the fact that they took a shitty product and turned it into a product that honestly looks
It-
good and
it
got
wasn't
good
shitty.
scores.
It wasn't.
That's a huge improvement.
It had so much promise. Like you think when you pick up a Wiimote and you think about its applications for gaming, you know, what do you
like lightsaber.
You're like lightsaber is one thing, first-person shooter is another thing, and Red Steel is just stylized and it is brutal and it is bloody and it is action-packed. It's something that it had so much promise.
I never played it, don't know much about this game, but it just reminded me of when I told my dad about the library of Wii games that we had, and I said, oh, we got this and that, and we got Knights.
Nice.
And he said, oh, well, you know, that's gotta use a lot of motion sensing. I mean, like, you know, I imagine, like, Knight combat, you know, with the swords and the shields, and I
Knights.
said, no.
That little gesture, wasn't it? It was a Dreamcast
Yeah, it's a little
game.
gay guy.
It was a short little gay guy in a dream world. Yeah, so for Sega Saturn. Yeah, that's right.
Saturn!
Yeah, that's right. And it sucked back then, probably.
It was considered a classic, actually. It's
I couldn't get into
a
it
whole lot of
one
people
bit.
liked it, and I don't know how the Green Knights turned out for the Wii. I honestly don't.
I couldn't get into it.
It sucked. I couldn't get into it. It's 2.5D in such a way that you think that you're moving on a 3D plane, but it confines you to up, down, left, right in such a weird way that it seems like the game is trying to protect you from itself. It's I think it was very much like Mischief Makers for the N64, but bad.
So the game's like, gotta protect you. You don't want to get any of this suck on you.
I want to wear a suck
You don't want
condom
it,
for
trust
this
me.
one.
No, it's more like 3D. Well, it's wonderful, but it's dangerous out there. Here, we'll give you 4 directions to move in instead.
6 directions? Life can't move at those speeds. Oh my god, shield me.
It's like playing a video game on a roller coaster. It's a nice spectacle, but it doesn't make for
You go
very
back
good
and forth and up and
interactivity.
down.
Can you imagine trying to play a video game on a roller coaster? It'd probably be easy when you're going up, and then you start going back down, and like
Oh,
the
that
TV
sounds
would
like a
fly
really
off
good
of your
idea,
lap,
actually.
and you'd be like, ah!
No, I mean, if the video game was the roller coaster, like if in front of you was a screen, and you had to pick, if you had to make certain decisions, like which direction to go.
There's Roller Coaster Tycoon where you build roller coasters.
Yeah, no. I know I love Roller Coaster Tycoon, but no, I'm not
saw-
talking about that. I mean, like,
I saw a guy like once that built a track on Roller Coaster Tycoon that flew, and then he put a whole bunch of people in the way of the roller coaster where it flew off track. It was entertaining.
I've done the same thing actually. You can catapult those carts into water.
That has to be awesome. That has to be a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, D-Pad, I believe that you created a ride that all it was a high-speed accelerator on a roller coaster track that ended with a series of cacti. That was fun.
I did all kinds of things on that game. I made a train that drops you off into hell. It literally takes all the customers and it drops them off in a non-existent point, and so they fall off the map until they disappear.
Until they glitch or disappear.
Yeah,
or
and they don't know.
something.
They're stupid AI. They don't know where they're going. They'll pay for the ride just the same.
The roller coaster to nowhere.
Literally.
You know, that way, if you've ever played Roller Coaster Tycoon, that way you get, you know, ornery customers who are like, this park stinks, you know, I'm hungry, I'm going to
step
go
right
on
this
a
way."
ride to try and cool my nerves down. They go on an awful ride, they have complaints about it, but it doesn't matter because they're in oblivion.
You know what we need to do? We need to go to Cedar Point sometime. Up there they got a roller coaster, goes 400 feet in the air, drops you 120 miles an hour.
I would shit my pants.
You would enjoy the fuck out of it, is what you do. You'd be like, "Ah!"
Maybe if I wear Depends.
You're gonna wear adult diapers in the roller coaster. Yes, Cedar Point. I think it's the fastest roller coaster in the world, but don't quote me on that. I might be wrong. God, we're off topic. Okay, I mentioned earlier that game laws in Australia suck balls. Well, we're going to talk about that now. Apparently, a bunch of gamers, 500 in total, gathered together in Australia, dressed up as zombies, and gathered together in Sydney to protest the game laws there. M-rated games are not allowed in Australia, like, period. Which, I'm glad I don't live in Australia.
Yeah, Australia, I mean, they're kind of like a utopian communistic state, you know. They have very strict social controls. And,
Utopia, my ass. They don't get M-rated games. You can't play Red Faction Guerrilla over there.
well, they have, like, racism is almost non-existent in Australia. So, you know, it's not
Everybody's
without...
white.
No, not really. They have the indigenous tribes, but, I mean, racism is almost non-existent, and you know, so it's, you know, they're doing some good with it, but the cost of that is that they have
Freedom?
well, yeah. The cost of that is that they have to they're like the nanny whose nephew collects Pokemon cards, and they confiscate all of the psychic-type Pokemon-based cards because, based on a true story.
You know somebody that this happened to?
Because psychics are evil. They're against the will of God.
What the fuck are you two talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. There's some crazy Christian families out there. But that has nothing to do about
Don't
being
get me
Christian.
wrong, though.
It's
Happy
just-
Easter, folks. Real D sucks.
Yeah, happy Easter. Go eat a chocolate egg in honor of Jesus coming back from the dead.
And go celebrate your zombie Jesus Day by biting the head off a bunny.
That too. Popeye's chicken is the shiznit.
Yeah, over here in Harrisburg, we had this thing called the Zombie Walk. I was so proud. It didn't really, I wasn't a part of it, you know, but I would have marched proud
without a cause
with
here.
my brethren zombies if it had I had makeup and maybe some friends to go with. You know, it happens every year. It happens every year in August. You guys should join us next year. This year.
Okay, why? I understand the need for the protest, and there are bills going through that might become laws to change the gaming laws so they'll get M-rated games over there. We're praying for you, Australia. But the dressing up like a zombie seems a bit unnecessary.
Not at
500
all.
people did it, but dressing up like a zombie, what does that prove?
First
Is
of
the
all,
protest
I
as
think they're
far
making
as-
a reference to Left 4 Dead 2, how they had to...
Well, there's a whole bunch of zombie games that aren't allowed. Left 4 Dead 1 and 2.
Yeah, but the
Resident
first one
Evil.
mainly. The second one they introduced, you know, the sword. Yeah, but they put a chainsaw into the zombie game where you could just line them up and charge through them. Every zombie that you hit, like if you hit them in the arm, you know, that cuts their arm off, you can cut their legs off and watch them crawl. You can cut their
I remember
heads
the
off,
very
and I think they
first-
still move.
The very first game I remember they had dismemberment like that was Soldier of Fortune. Remember the first time I played that game? I got a shotgun, shot somebody in the leg, and their leg came flying off, and they were hopping around and bleeding. And I was like, that is so badass! Hopping around on one leg, bleeding out the other.
Awesome. Let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, that zombies are people too. And they need their fair share of representation in the government, be that of the United States or the United Australia. Whatever their states are called. I don't know, Australia's kind of weird. Like, it's technically a continent, but, like, it's a country too. But-
it was divided in half.
No, it's got like Australia has like I think 5 provinces or whatever you call them, but they almost seem as if they're independent countries. But it's one country. I don't know. I used to get in really big arguments with people when I was a little kid about why Australia wasn't an island. I was like, it's floating in the water. How is it not an island?
Isn't it
You're
made
still
up
getting
of...
really big arguments with people about all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know, D-Pad, a couple of nights ago, we were trying to get you down to, maybe burn some stuff in the woods and roast some marshmallows.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
Hell yeah.
it's been a long time before we destroyed stuff. And,
Yeah.
we going to the river!
You ever have diarrhea? It just don't hurt coming out.
the river!
It's so satisfying.
Now that our entire listening audience is deaf, the game laws really do need to change out there. And thank God that.
Yeah,
guy
why
that was
Australia? Why does Australia have stricter game laws? Aren't they made up of criminals?
Yeah, well, they were. It was originally a penal colony.
A
Penal.
British criminal, British criminals. They sent them there, and they had nowhere else to go. And they said, "There, reprocreate. Have fun becoming a continent." Yeah, right. I guess that's why. That's why.
Australia's still there, and they're like, WTF, mate.
And then France is like, fire the missiles!
But they'll be dead soon.
Then take a nap. Then fire the missiles!
I wouldn't mind living in Australia, or at least visiting for a while. There really is a lack of kangaroos in my life.
I wish I had been there, marching with the 500 zombies.
As
Did they
a
get? Do you
kangaroo.
know if they got tear gassed or anything, or like if anything? Because that would be fun. I mean, what if there was just one crazed person waiting for the right moment to snap and just went out and was like, "Woo! It's a real life zombie game!" and went nuts.
Well, it wouldn't be tear gas you would be fighting with them.
What if the government needed? I don't know. It's just putting blood on yourself and walking around like a zombie. Like it just seems like painting a target on yourself. Like I don't know.
That's a good point. I know a lot of Americans, for one point.
A lot of
wouldn't
American
hesitate to shoot
soldiers
someone
who would
looks
just
like a zombie.
be like, "Oh, this is just too fun." They're asking for it, But I would march among them, proudly. I just want something to fight for, really.
I don't think the zombie protest turned into the LA riots.
Do you think there ever will be zombie protests, like actual life?
I think someday the zombies are going to rise.
Zombie
We're going to have to use shotguns to put them down.
Well, they're not the crazies.
Yeah, it's called Otakon.
You said zombies, not nerds.
No. You haven't seen Otakon After Hours. It's like, whoa! This is when the crazies come out. And the people who have been up since 7, and it's like 11 and they're just kind of roaming. Then there's that fanboy stench. It's a scary thing.
Having seen daylight footage of Otakon for several years, the crazies are there all damn day. They're out all damn day.
If by crazies you mean bums, then yes. Asking you for
That
money.
too.
I did have a bum walk into the registration line once. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. He's like, "Hey! This stuff is crazy! Hey, what are y'all up to here? Hey, I'm coming with you guys! I can do it! I'm gonna join you!"
Yeah, I saw a girl who I swear was on acid when she was waiting in line to get into Otakon. She was holding onto a phone pole, and she was surrounded by all these attendants, and she was like, no, I can't let go, no. And her husband was there with her, trying to be like, "No, honey, there's nothing around, there's nothing to worry about." And she's like, no, it's dangerous, no, I can't do it, I just can't stand up, I can't. She was like sitting cross-legged with her legs wrapped around a phone pole.
Was she cosplaying as the girl from Blue Gender?
I don't think she was cosplaying at all. I think she was,
Crazy?
yeah, well, under the influence, really. But it was a sad sight. I mean,
I hope that this gamer protest does some good. I hope
it happens again, even
500
bigger.
people is quite a protest.
Needs 1,000.
Yeah, I
Let's
imagine
fly out
I
there.
imagine like if they do this more than once, they'll get bigger crowds each time. That's usually how that works, isn't it?
Note to self, seek public office, outlaw mature games in Pennsylvania,
just so we can have a protest like that to re-legalize them. It would just be so fun.
If you make me have to drive to another state to buy mature games, Alex, I think I'm going to punch you in the face.
It's like a week. How often do you buy video games anyways?
Not often enough.
Yeah, we pose.
The last one I got for free because I bought at launch. I pre-ordered.
Dude, mature games, we can get like at least a month of fun out of Katamari Damacy franchise.
I get a month of fun out of Red Faction Gorilla.
Tearing buildings down while you're inside of them. Oh, I could never get bored.
It's so much fun. I remember the first time I destroyed a building enough and then stepped back and watch it collapse. I was like, holy shit,
with a hammer.
this is awesome.
With a hammer. Just knock
With
out
a
the
hammer.
support beams with a hammer. It's really a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah. Nintendo and Google are teaming up to make a game for the Wii based on searching. And it'll... And apparently it's kind of like a video game adaptation of Google Fight.
What's
I
Google
don't know if you
Fight?
guess which one will get more hits and stuff like that. Google Fight is you put two things in, you enter two possible searches, and it counts the total results, and the one it has the most results wins. That's Google Fight.
See, I heard of this thing called Aim Fight. You can go to these websites where you put in your screen name, and it takes how many friends you have total, and it multiplies it by itself 3 times. It puts it to the third power, and that's how many points you have.
This kind of form of entertainment reminds me of back in the days of Jive, back in my days in Nam. When we first had the internet, basically, we used to just come up with like ridiculous sounding websites and go on, not on Google, but just go into the URL bar and try and see if they existed. Do you remember that, Ian?
Yeah, like when we found like itty-bitty-asian-titties.com.
I remember some people.
There's a website called howmany5-year-olds-can-you-take-in-a-fight.com. It's a little calculator. I can take 15 5-year-olds. It's not very much.
Oh, geez. I remember finding a website way back in the 90s. I found a website that had baby names and interpretations of them. And there were biblical names, and then there were American names, and then there were foreign names, and then there were Pokemon names. And it's like, if your child is named Mewtwo, he is a strong character and likely to be a leader. I was like, what?
Dude, people got really over the top with that whole fad. Is it still around? Are they still selling
Pokemon?
cards?
I don't know
Like,
about
I know
the cards,
the show
but
is still out.
that's sad. But they just came out with Soul Silver and Heart Gold. I remember when Pokemon Gold and Silver came out, I thought it was going to be a last-ditch effort. They were going to embarrass themselves. Oh well.
No, they turned out pretty good. It was just really, really late. in the
I can't
franchise.
wait until the next generation. I have kids, and Pokemon will still be around, and they'll get into it, and then I'll say,
remember when it was just 150.
150,000! I'll show them. I say, hey, you want to see where this all started? That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
Watch them get really, really lazy with their Pokemon designs and names. This is Monomon.
I got a shoe.
Did you catch it with a Pokeball?
Yeah, I got Pokemon in this here Pokeball. And I got Great Balls. And I got Ultra Balls. And I got the Mega Balls.
Heavy balls.
There's one kind of ball that I forgot. A basketball! I need to get outside! That Mad Magazine reference.
The new Mad Magazine says, I heart Obama. And the stupid little Mad Magazine kid is drawing ED after the heart. I hearted Obama. I was like, oh, that's that's soon, man. At least wait until after his presidency.
Dude, people didn't wait till after. People didn't wait till the end of the first presidency of Bush to go, look, we need someone else.
It's because he wasn't even a president. He just played golf. He just
You wish you could be the president of the
oil.
country and get paid to play golf. You'd be like, this gig's pretty sweet. I play video
president
games.
really doesn't have that much power over like what decisions are made. They
He's got power over the armed forces. That's
they do.
pretty
They can
powerful.
go to war. They can
You'd be
declare
like,
war.
go kick these people's asses, and they'll do it. They'll be like, yes, Mr. President, sir. Their asses shall be kicked. Okay, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the map pack launch called the Stimulus Package. It has caused matchmaking issues.
Speaking of Obama,
What?
stimulus package.
Yeah.
Does that not sound phallic?
Maybe that's why Trojan released a special whatever and called it the Stimulus Package. No, seriously, they did that. I
The
saw commercials
Obaminator.
for it.
Dangly parts.
Anyway, it caused matchmaking issues, which means people were having trouble joining games and stuff like that. Microsoft claimed that it was accidentally released before the game patch would have fixed these issues. So they're supposed to release the game patch and then the map pack.
Is this not what Microsoft is most well known for, releasing things before they're useful to anyone?
Yeah, look at Windows ME, XP, 7, and Vista.
Microsoft Windows! It might be really good someday.
That should be their tagline.
It's like the Wiimote. Oh, we have a new peripheral for the Wiimote. It makes it work!
Nintendo did do that.
Does anybody actually find a use for Windows 7? Speaking while we're still on topic,
I've seen some people that used it.
I don't know. I mean, what I'm saying is, did we really need it? It's so much alike to Windows
I
XP.
used Windows 7. No, it was Windows Vista that I used at one of my temp jobs once. It made my life miserable for 2 months.
Yeah, Vista was awful, and then they did 7 to be to cover up Vista, But
Apparently,
really,
it's
I mean,
just
I
Windows
look at
Vista that works. But you know what? I've been a patron of Windows XP for about a decade. And
I still use XP. It's
it hasn't
wonderful.
really caused me many problems.
No.
It's still Microsoft. It still causes some problems, but a hell of a lot less than Vista and 7.
Yeah, Vista was just one big.
However, I would take Vista over ME any day. I had ME when I started in college. Yeah. Pity me.
Yeah, how'd that
Pity
work
me
out?
that. Well, it was a very expensive virus, basically.
Dude, that's like choosing between having diarrhea and getting so sick you throw up.
That's like choosing between.
Once again, I'd rather have the first one. Because at least that's funny.
Diarrhea coming out of my dick. Oh no!
Yeah, I don't
Nerd
mind
clubs.
having diarrhea as long as nobody's home to hear. If the way my roommate lives right next to the toilet sometimes. And sometimes I have to make a lot of noise.
Tim?
And no, Birdman.
Oh,
Yeah, he lives right next to the bathroom. It gets kind of awkward sometimes. If he's taking a nap, I'll wake him up. I've woken him up before.
you woken him up while taking his shit.
Well, not intentionally. The thing's got a mind of its own, it just talks.
That's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. Anyway, how the hell do you accidentally release something early? How do you even do that with something like Xbox Live? They have control over when the damn thing is released. Did they just forget to release the patch, or did they actually fuck up and release this thing and then realize it didn't work and said, "Okay, we're gonna patch it"?
It's bound to happen sooner or later. That is one big cluster curse of mistakes. You would have to issue it through so many people. Alright, it's being released, and they probably checked and double checked and the whole enchilada, and they probably still forgot to release that one patch.
Kind of reminds me of when they were doing the expansions to Fallout 3, how several of them did not work when they first released. And then they patched them and they worked just fine. And the PlayStation 3 got all of it later on because it was an exclusive thing. So the PlayStation 3 got the working versions of everything first day. Kind of got the better end of the deal there, didn't they? Wow, we're at 52 minutes. That's your clock update for this episode because I know you guys missed that.
Maybe we should have like a little theme song at half an hour. We should cut to a commercial break.
Press the action button. It's your podcast.
Can we please do a little acapella at the 30-minute mark?
Hey yo! That's how it ends. Hey yo. Yo!
That's a good song
Sounds
by
like
the Xyz.
Kyo sounds like a Japanese guy. Kyo!
Kyo.
Yo!
Doesn't that mean dragon?
I have no
Japanese.
idea. I don't speak.
That's Ryu.
Rio. Like Ken and Rio?
Yeah. That reminds me of the Wicked City, the live-action anime, basically, where the subtitles identified a certain character as Ken, but every time someone called his name, the actor would go, "Aye!" and the subtitle would say, "Ken!"
That's funny.
Yes! Japanese prerogatives are funny!
Hey, I figured out why the microphone got shorter. Why the wires got shorter. See, look, here's the extension cable right here. Ow.
Yeah, we'll have to fix that next week because we're pretty much just about done with this week's podcast. Awkward silence.
Oh man, well yeah, I think we should start our closing remarks.
Yeah, we should. Microsoft, fuck your couch.
Zombie walk, don't give up.
Dsiware, fuck your couch. Australia gaming laws, fuck your couch too.
Red Steel, don't give up.
Haikus are funny, but sometimes they don't make sense. Refrigerator.
Nintendo is cool.
Yeah, they are. But still, the Dsiware thing's kind of bullshit. They need to fix that.
Oh, I was trying to ad-lib a haiku.
Okay, D-pad, we're gonna ad-lib a haiku about Nintendo. Start
Alright.
over again.
Alright, so wait, I'm 5, you're 7, and
Yeah.
he's 5. Okay. Press the action button.
Everyone knows their name.
Oh, it's your. Oh.
I don't even have a mic. There.
I don't even mic.
I'm not even mic'd. Does that work?
That was beautiful. It's beautiful.
That was the worst haiku ever.
I think
Like,
it captured the moment perfectly.
and like there's this whole big ass long pause in the middle of it. Oh.
I don't even mic.
You haven't done that review yet. What the fuck, Gameface?
I'm not fine.
I'm gonna have to hit you with something until you do it. Do it.
You said hit.
Yeah, anyway, that wraps up this week's Press the Action button. Thanks for listening. You just totally distracted me with that, you asswipe.
Stuck a gummy worm to the wall. It sticks really well. Like, it's really adhesive.
Can we please take a picture? Can we please take a picture of this and put it on the website? It's
We can
too
make that your
funny.
profile picture, actually.
Here is what we did during the podcast. You see this? This is what we do. This is how we do what we do.
It'll only be funny to people who listen to this entire week session. Oh wow, that's beautiful.
Anyway.
All right, well this is D-pad, and I'm a wee sad because I don't know. I was just trying to rhyme. Peace out.
Because we're not going to be talking to the people
Exactly.
anymore.
Exactly. How
Until
sad.
next week.
All right, gentlemen.
This
Good
is
night, and
Joystick.
always stay true.
This is Game Face. Keep it real as veal.
Talk to you guys next week. Press the action button.
Peace.
Out.